So now we'll dive more into the numbers because it's a numbers game, of course, and you'll see, but I think you will agree with me that it's a pretty impressive scorecard. On the thing Buffett says about working at Berkshire, he says, I love painting my own painting. I come down to the office, I get on my back, and I start painting. And I think I'm in the Sistine Chapel. It's my painting. And he was talking about, of course, Berkshire Hathaway, the way it's structured, the way it does. A lot of people are worried about when he leaves, but he's building the company. Like I just told you, they just have 25 employees, so they are independent or dependent upon the business that they buy and the management and stuff, but the culture and stuff. So it's very interesting. All right. See if we continue we will dive more into the numbers and into the annual report. Every year when we receive the report, the first paragraph always reads the same. He just changes the numbers. Berkshire's gain in the net worth, because right now I don't have the 2017 report, just the 2016, was 27. The gain, $27.5 billion of gain, which increased the per share book value, which he's very fond of our Class A and Class B stocks by 10% over the last 52 years. That is since the present management took over. The per share book value has grown, get this, from $19 in 1965 to $172,000 in 105. So once a rate of 19% compounded annually. And so that's okay, that's not bad. And that's the good part. In 2012, I laughed when I read that. A number of good things happened at Berkshire last year, but let's first get the bad news out of the way. That's the way he rolls. Usually, when there is something bad, a mistake, something, he addresses it in the first page of his annual report. And since you're English reading people, I thought to give you, instead of just giving you my PowerPoint on that, I'll give you the original. By the way, the paper, the annual report is so simple, no picture. No, I have never seen a picture in it. It's written in small font, and it's very easy to read. So when you have to go to other annual report of other companies, that's when you realize the difference just in the philosophy and the easiness of which you give me the numbers, and some other company are trying to Shazam to do things with the numbers. So, okay, continue, because we will get lost and it will be more than what you ask for. If you invested with Buffett in 1957, that is when he began his first hedge fund. That's 8 years before he bought Berkshire Hathaway. If you have put $10,000 with him back then, it would be worth today, hang on to your seat, $1,250,000,000. Yeah, I did the math. I have recounted, because if you have been with him in 1957 until 1969, when he closed his hedge funds and he sent money back to the partners, some of them, he said, if you want, we just bought this company, Berkshire Hathaway, so I can exchange what you have in your partnership and give you instead some shares of that Berkshire Hathaway. So I did the math. I reverse engineering it, and today those people would have hang on to 3,909 Class A shares, and those 3,900 will be worth, at the current market condition, $320,000 each. So if you do the math, it's $1 billion. That's pretty impressive. But people say, and I hear that all the time, yeah, but that was the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even the 90s, the roaring 90s. What about the last 5 to 10 years? What have he done? But it's not as big, it's not as good, but I will show you. So and that is pretty, you know what? We are online. That was on my PowerPoint when I do presentation, but because we are online and I have some capacity with my internet and my editing process, I will show you the real thing. The magic of editing. So I just took 2 minutes to go to my graph. Let's say for the year the 2000s, say. So we'll go from the one. I don't know if I can do that. The one and 2000. So in the last, yeah, it applies. It goes well to today. So in blue you have Berkshire Hathaway's share. So not bad since the year 2000, January 1st, and the red line is the S&P 500. So you have that. Okay, we'll go now from let's say just before the big crash in 2008. So we will put ourselves in the summer of 2008. I will say, let's say July 15. I will go here, and July 15, just in the middle of summer of 2008, where everything went down. And we have a strong obviously we have a strong correlation. There is, and Berkshire now is not the same as it was, but it's not lagging like some people like to say or whatever. If we look at the last 5 years, just pure 5 years, and 2013 to now, Berkshire still have an edge. Not that much, but 30%, not bad. And the last 2 years, not bad at all. Still, we have an edge. The Berkshire Hathaway, strong correlation, maybe more, standard deviation, more variation, more risk if you adjust it. You can see in November here that it's funny because they're very, very different. Buffett and Trump are very different, but in November at the election or after the election, people thought that the policy that Trump would put in place, not just for Buffett, but for all the rich people about the income tax of the companies and stuff like that, it boosted actually strongly, not just Buffett's share, but all the big companies. And you can see that, and it even boosted more than the one in the S&P 500. And in the last year, still we have more gain from Warren Buffett's share of Berkshire Hathaway than the S&P 500. So not bad at all. Will it continue? I don't know. Of course, we don't know that. But just it's a course on Buffett. It's the place where we look at the scorecard. We look at what happened in the last years. And I'll give you now the page 2 actually of the. Of all his annual reports. It's always the same. It has changed. I said always. It has changed in the last year, where he put the variation of the book value and of the market value, and he compared himself to the S&P 500 because he says, if you invest in, it is very clear to him that if you invest in Berkshire, that is a holding company of many companies, you want to outperform the market. If you don't outperform the market, just go and buy a Vanguard index ETF, not a mutual fund, but an index fund. Pay low fees and just be done with it. So it is very clear in his mind. Since 1957, he wants to outscore, outdo, outnumber, outgrow the market, and he has done that on a regular basis. So I'm giving you on the right now, and you can look and see that even in 2016, the book value of was 10%, plus 10, but the per share on the stock market was plus 23%. And the S&P was 12. So there is a kind of a discrepancy, and when you look at that, you can see how the market will overreact or underreact to different things. If you look, let's say in 1998, that was a pretty strong correlation, 48 and 52. That's pretty rare. In what year? If you can go to some year that's very, very different. In 1990, the book value of Berkshire went 7% up, and the market ding it down minus 33. In 1989, the book value went up 44%, and the market overreacted 84%. So you can see year after year that the market does not react to what's happening in real time, but he always try to anticipate and sometimes goes overboard or underboard. And what you see on the more right column is the differentiation with the S&P 500, so not the real. So you can see the difference. And at the end of all those years, from 1965 to 2016, because we don't count the years before that, because he was his hedge fund, you had 19% for his the book value has risen 19% per year compounded. The market has risen more, so the market has given a better value, not over, but at least 20.8%. So 19 on one side, that's the book value, but 20.8, that can account to a significant difference over 52 years, but you can see. And then the market, the S&P 500, has risen 9.7% per year. That's counting the dividend. And if you read the paragraph at the bottom, you'll see that the Berkshire Hathaway rate of return is even better if you take into account the income tax, because on the S&P 500, you will have, if you have lots of money, you will have to pay for dividend taxes every year. In Buffett's term, Berkshire Hathaway had never paid dividends. So if you want to have money out of your investment, you decide to sell a Class A or a Class B share, but you will not receive dividends. So the people that are there since the beginning, all the money, they did not have to pay any income taxes. So pretty interesting.